Coming up today on Eagle Eyes on Tech, Twitch streamers are going insane, claiming all non-active viewers are not being counted in their view counts. OpenAI has introduced the worst parental controls I've ever seen, ever. Microsoft has increased the price for Game Pass for good reasons, we swear, totally, for real. And Skyrim Grandma says goodbye to Skyrim. All that and more come today on Eagle Eyes on Tech. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, North to AM. Goodbye, this is Eagle Eyes on Tech. I am Eagle Falcon. We have a lot to talk about today, but first we are going to start with one story that we kind of briefly covered last week, but we're going to cover in more detail now that we have it this week. That being the deal for several buyers to purchase and bring private Electronic Arts, the whole company, in a $55 billion deal where the two biggest people involved in the purchasing deal is Jared Kushner, stepson of Donald Trump, and a public funding fund. Okay, yeah, that's right. Belonging to Saudi Arabia. Their intents at this point are unknown, but here's what we can safely assume. All right. When you buy a company and then make it go private, that means you have a vision and you don't want shareholders to get in the way of that vision. Because when push comes to shove, shareholders only care about one thing and one thing only. And that's very simply, shareholders just want to see their share prices go up. They want number go up. They don't care a whole lot for future growth. They don't care a whole lot for, any sort of long-term plans. They care about number go up. That is a very, very gross, and I do mean a very gross simplification of the stock market. But it's kind of necessary in this case. All right. So you get rid of all of that burden. You now no longer need to worry about any of that. All the shareholders have now been bought off, and Electronic Arts is now private and now owned by both Saudi Arabia and a number of other giant investors. The first thing giant investors are going to want, this is going to come as a big shock to you. All right. Are you ready for this big shock? The first thing the public investors want is to get their money back. I know. I'm just as shocked as you. So, the first thing that's going to happen to EA is that there's going to be budget cuts. I think it's fair to say any sort of game that might have been in the works for EA that is not deemed to be super profitable, dead. You really want to go ahead and see that new Mass Effect game? Nah. It's dead. You wanted to go ahead and see that remake of some good old classic back when such and such company was, not owned by EA? Nah, it's dead. I think it's very safe to say all you can expect to come out of EA in the immediate future is FIFA, Madden, and probably Battlefield. That's all I could expect for certain. And I want to pretend that the monetization isn't going to be bad, that they want to go ahead and focus more on immediate sales rather than hoping for long-term microtransaction sales, but it's EA. The investors knew what they were getting into. They already know EA is one of the worst microtransaction doers out there, and I almost guarantee you they're going to take advantage of that. Just expect all the microtransactions. All of them. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you're hoping for the sale of EA to result in a return to some classics, I think you have your hopes up. If you're hoping that, this whole sort of thing is going to lead to, EA turning away from trying to make any political correctness now that they're now that they're owned by Saudi Arabia. Maybe, but who cares? Like, I don't see a very bright future for EA. I unfortunately right now do not. And granted, it's very early. It is very, 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 very early in all of this. Okay? We don't know for certain what's going to happen. We do know this is going to happen. So for now, I mean, all we can do is wait and see what happens with EA. Maybe there's going to be a push for more esports titles, sort of things out of Saudi Arabia. We know Saudi Arabia had interest in a whole lot of esports before. The problem is that I don't think the market right now has a whole lot of taste for new esports. The esports market in general lately is kind of on the downtrend. We're kind of on the downslope of that. It's kind of silly to get into that market right now, but who knows? All we can do is wait and see. I'd say this is bad news for EA, but let's be honest. EA has been kind of a bad spot for quite some time when it comes to, producing anything of quality and actually producing anything that was, desired out of into the gaming space. It has pretty much just been flop after flop after flop after flop, but the flop made money hand over fist. So, bye. Someone in chat said that the buyers are paying using debt issued to EA. This won't be good for EA. Yeah, we kind of mentioned that they're going to expect EA to be able to make the money back. Now, I don't actually have confirmation that they actually literally said they paid using debt issued to EA. But I mean, like, they're investors. They're going to insist that EA makes them their money back. Any good investor is going to look at that. Investors are not in the business of losing money. Kind of like how streamers are not in the business of losing viewers. So, if you've ignored Twitter for a while, congratulations, you're sane. But if you're not and are insane like me, you've noticed a lot of people insisting that lurkers are no longer counted when it comes to Twitch. Oh my God. In fact, a lot of people are showing images like this one right here, where they show their viewership of that's showing 20, but then a parenthesis that says 45, because they're using this plugin that shows the actual number of viewers. Oh my God. How scandalous. 25 viewers of this streamer are not being counted. Clearly, all the lurkers, all the people who just turn on a stream and just don't pay attention are just not being counted. Oh my God. So what's going on here? Well, first off, let me tell you something. If you put blind faith in a freaking plugin that just plops a number onto your screen and says this is totally your real view count, and when you go to them and try to look how they get it, their whole thing is just we get the real number. Trust me, bro. This should be the first freaking red flag. Let me tell you something, all right? There's something I've learned over the years. Most people do not want information. What they really want is validation. They have a theory and they want to be proven right. This kind of leads to a phrase what's the right word? This kind of leads to some wise words I've said multiple times. And that is that rationalization is the second strongest human drive. You'll go ahead and twist your head into any sort of knots if it rationalizes your belief. You want to know how this plugin draws the alleged correct number of viewers? It counts entries on the chatter list. those of you who are longtime Twitch viewers or Twitch users at all know how comically funny this is, because the actual viewer list is so comically bad and useless for actually getting you usable information for who's actually watching. It should always be disregarded, especially since, well, in fact, tons of people send out bots to gather information. Those show up in the viewer list, but they're not actually watching the stream at all. They're just skimming chat data. This has been a thing since the dawn of Twitch. So to go ahead and just claim, oh, my plugin says 45, but it says 20. No. So anyone doing this is living in their own little bubble. They have done zero research and are just parroting what they've heard other people say. This is misinformation. The real answer as far as where have views gone, because people have seen big drops in view counts. Where has that gone? Well, the correct answer is we're not sure. Because right now, according to the data that we have here from Zach Busey, Twitch viewership is up in September. But there is something different being done for how viewers are counted in the live number. There is something going on. They're not completely crazy, but they are fairly crazy. Now, a couple of theories are going around right now. One of which is that the push out for bot detection is also hurting a plugin that I only recently found out exists, that people install into their web browser, and it just kind of has a tab open at all times viewing a number of streamers you support. Basically, you're supporting them, but you're not really actually there. Let's actually set some definitions real quick. We're talking about lurkers a lot. What is a lurker? A lurker is just a viewer watching a stream, but is doing something else. They just go ahead, fire up the stream. They're not active in chat. They're doing their laundry. They're doing bookwork. They're doing paperwork. They're cleaning up around the house. They're doing anything else. And they're just not paying a whole lot of attention to the stream and thus to the chat. So they're not active in the chat, but they are in fact watching and listening. By definition, this counts as a legitimate viewer. Okay? Now, some of these lurker plugins would go ahead and automatically have tabs open, whether actually or secretly, and just have a client sitting and watching the streams while they're not actually watching them. This, when you really get down to it, I hate to phrase it this way, but this sort of plugin is, well, you're kind of view botting. Sorry, you kind of are. By definition, you're not there. You're not actually watching the stream. You're just generating artificial views. Oh my God, Twitch did a massive bot crackdown. Man, I wonder if the add-on that kind of just makes you an artificial view, which is what a view bot is, no longer count. That could very well just be it. Now, some other information that Zach Busey has pointed out is that nowadays it is almost well known that if you have multiple connections to Twitch going on at once, any past 3 or 4 usually aren't counted anyway. So if you're going ahead and having your Firefox homepage just set to 87 tabs of Twitch to support a whole group of streamers, you're probably not helping 85 of them. So, I mean, there's already protections in place for this sort of thing. Now, this is most likely what's going on. Do we know for certain this is what's going on? No, we don't. We have no idea. So, is Twitch not counting lurkers? No. We have no evidence of that. In fact, I know several streamers who normally half their viewer count, I would say at least, are lurkers. Their view count is still perfectly stable. they are not just not counting lurker reviews. That is not what's going on. That's insane. But no matter how much evidence you provide to disprove that they're not counting lurkers, in the end, rationalization is the second strongest human drive. And no matter how much facts and logics you present, they don't care. They're going to stick to their paranoid theory and just assume, my God, Twitch has absolutely ruined me. They need to revert the bot change right now. Oh my God, it's limiting my lurker views. Oh, save me, Twitch, save me. Right now, it's looking like, no, Twitch didn't screw you. In fact, if anything, it looks like a lot of the people were, whether inadvertently or intentionally, viewbotting you. That's just all there is to it, unfortunately. So rather than spending the energy to go onto Twitter, to go onto Blue Sky, which is very quickly becoming somehow worse than Twitter, at least on my feed. I hope that changes, by the way. Before you go onto any of these social media platforms and just keep constantly griping about how your career as a streamer is over because Twitch ruined you, I would strongly recommend come up with a different plan. Look at how to increase your views. Heck, you know what I noticed on YouTube? After the first wave, when the ad blocker came out and just pushed out that change that like killed roughly 40% of all views on YouTube videos, and it was insane. You know what most of the YouTubers did? They shifted their content. A lot more of them started pushing out more shorts, tried to go ahead and tweak the way they did their content. They looked for different ways to try and drive viewership up rather than just gripe on Twitter. We're going to take our first break here. When we come back, I need to talk about how Meta wants to go ahead and do pretty much exactly what you'd expect Meta to do. Use AI to sell you ads. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back. Welcome back, Eagle Eyes on Tech. I'm Eagle Falcon. All right, well, Google's in denial. Or rather, they want you to be in denial. But they're insisting that, don't worry, sideloading on Android will in fact survive. Oh yeah, don't worry, no. You think that sideloading is gonna end, that it's never gonna be allowed again on Android. No, it's totally gonna survive. It's totally gonna survive. You wanna know why they're saying this, by the way? That was interesting. This outro is going, there we go. That was a weird glitch. Anyway, we're rolling with it. That's now in the official one. I'm not redoing it. So let's back up a little bit first, all right? Google put out an update on Android that made it so that any app you try to sideload, which means install from outside of the Google App Store, has to still be approved by the Google App Store. Meaning, for example, I have a gimbal, okay? I've lost a lot of faith in my gimbal after a recent live stream, but I own a gimbal. There's software for that gimbal. That software is not on the Google Play Store. I had to sideload it from their website. All right. So that means with this change, I couldn't do that because anything that's sideloaded must already have approval from the Google App Store or from the Play Store. So you can still sideload stuff, but it has to be stuff that already exists on the Play Store. If it doesn't have that, it's going to be denied. So Google says, oh yeah, no, totally. Sideloading is going to survive. It totally is going to survive. Dude, you can still sideload so many things on Android. All right, class. Why is Google saying this? Why is Google insisting? Why are they insisting that side loading is going to survive on Android? Does anyone know? Anyone? Anyone? All right, put your hands down. You know I can't see them. The answer is very obvious. It's the EU. In the EU, they got into so much hot water, and so did Apple for that fact, for not allowing independent stores and for having restricted side loading. They're trying to go ahead and say as loud as they can, no, consumers still have control. No, side loading is still a real thing. Don't worry. No, we're not in trouble. No. Don't investigate this. We're not doing anything anti-consumer. No. This is 100% to save faith. And I cannot stress this enough. This needs to stop from Google. This push to de facto kill the whole point of side loading and to make it so that they have complete control over their device is so detrimental to the platform. You take away side loading, you take away control from the Android platform, what's left? You know what you are when you implement all those controls on a platform like Android? You're just a worse iPhone. That's all there is to it. You are just a worse iPhone. Why would anyone go ahead and say, yeah, I'll stick with Android totally for reals? Yeah. No. What's the point if you don't have control? This push more and more, and it's not just the phones doing this. The PC space is trying to do this more and more and more. The gaming space has already been suckered into this, where you don't actually own the things you buy. The tech company owns the thing you buy. Heck, a lot of you probably don't even realize this, but on your own North American carrier, you probably don't even own your own phone. I'm willing to bet most of you technically lease your phone without even knowing it. I found on my last phone that was technically a lease. Never knew. It was supposed to be a payment plan, then you own the phone. Nope, it was a lease. Someone in chat says they already know I buy theirs outright. Yeah, you can always go with the cheap ones, just buy out your phone and just be like, yeah, I'm fine, whatever. But now, think about this for a minute. You spend your $300-$400 on your, cheap budget, easily unlocked phone. All right? Let's even say $500-$600. We'll be generous, okay? You go through all that to make sure you have the freedom and the ownership of the phone, which totally get and totally agree. 100% totally agree with that. What's the point when your own software keeps you out of what you want to tweak? It's aggravating. It's infuriating. And I do hope that Google continues to get pushback on this, because the whole end to side loading thing needs to stop. And the worst part is, it's probably going to still be allowed in Europe. You're probably going to be fine with a European version of Android. For those in NA and other parts of the world, we might just get screwed. And I'm not too fond of that idea. No sirree. Meanwhile, though, Apple is testing a Chat GPT-like app. However, early indication shows that this Chat GPT-like application will most likely never actually reach your iPhone, as it is just a testing right now of Apple's own internal large language model. Okay, yeah, that kind of checks out. Remember how 2 years ago Apple went on the stage on WWDC and said that Siri was going to function just like every large language model? Remember that? How'd that turn out? How'd that go? Oh yeah, it never happened, did it? In fact, a lot of the Apple intelligence things never happened. They have been delayed again and again and again. So to hear them only just now getting their own large language model like app, oof. If you're hoping that voice assistant to go ahead and have those large language model AI features so that it too will never shut up when you ask it a simple question, man, you're going to be going ahead and you are going to be, you might as well just install Alexa Plus. I think that's just going to be your easiest answer at that point. Oh, by the by, we finally got Alexa Plus here in the studio. The funniest thing to me, by far, is the Echo Show we have in the living room. We have one of those 15-inch Echo Shows. The one in the living room I'm sorry, we got interrupted by our own one here in the studio. The one in the living room is hooked up to Alexa Plus. It only works in landscape mode. We have this thing mounted above the thermostat on like a thick edge of a wall that divides the dining room and the living room. And we have it mounted in portrait. While it's in portrait, it behaves like a normal Alexa. If you take it off and rotate it, it turns into Alexa Plus. And it's really, really funny. Because if you ever get sick of it just constantly talking back and forth, you just rotate it and it stops instantly. And it might be one of the most interesting cases of it's not a bug, it's a feature. Or in this case, it actually is a bug. But to me, it's a feature. Because if you accidentally get the Alexa Plus going, if you actually get that thing talking, it takes so much effort to get it to stop. And it is infuriating. So yeah, Apple working on a ChatGPT clone. Good luck, Apple. Good luck. Meanwhile, the artist formerly known as Facebook. We seem to be having some technical difficulties here in the studio. My keyboard and mouse are no longer responding. So we're going to go ahead and cut to the break early. And then we'll come back and talk about how Meta wants to go ahead and use AI data to sell ads. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back. Welcome back, Eagle Eyes on Tech. I'm Eagle Falcon. Yeah, that was a fun technical difficulty. You know, a more professional podcaster, let me tell you, they just go back and re-record the previous segment. I don't care enough. We had a problem. We literally had a blue screen of death happen. People saw it live. Oh, people didn't see the blue screen of death happen live. They just saw I went offline in the middle of a commercial break. After I tried to disconnect and reconnect the keyboard and mouse to get it to work. And, well, full system restart did the trick, turns out. Yeah, we need to get out of this system, man. Like, I love this this workstation, but we gotta go. We gotta go. We gotta go fast. But I digress. Meanwhile, I kept teasing Meta using AI gathered data to serve even more targeted ads. Well, lo and behold, it is exactly that. Meta will use your AI chat history to serve you even more targeted ads. I'm sure someone out there is shocked by this news. But for those, this is pretty much what I gotta say to those people. I gotta say, this is what they do. This is what Facebook has done. This is what Meta does. They will scrape every ounce of data that makes you up, no matter the cost. Nothing is below them. They will do it. No matter what you think they will, no matter if you think, oh, they'll never stoop that low. Yes, they will. They abso-freaking-lutely will. They will always do more. They will scrape every ounce of data possible. They are going to sell you more ads. They have no standards. They have no depths to which they will not stoop. So yeah, no matter what stupid things you say to their AI, whether it be the dumbest questions you could possibly think of, or try to see if you can get their chatbot AI to go and be flirty, it doesn't matter. They're going to use that data, and they're going to use it to serve you more ads. And for those that are surprised by, it would do that? But I pay money to use their chatbot, probably. First off, I actually don't know. First off, if their chatbot actually does cost nothing, then I want to remind you, if the product is free, you are the product. Spoilers. That is the way of the way of the world in this era. That is just how it is. If it's free, it's using you. Now, if it charges you money in doing that, well, that's just typical Facebook stuff. making you pay extra and then using your data to sell you ads. Someone in chat says, but watching Eagle is free. Yes. Yes, it is. Guess what? This channel runs ads. I make a small amount of money by people watching ads. Surprise! Guess what? Every streamer does this. Is it a lot of money? No. I mean, I'll just tell you this right now because I'm about as transparent about this sort of stuff as possible. I make about $60 a week, or not a week, a month on Twitch. That's it. The end. And the majority of that is from subscriptions. So people that go in and pay $6 a month or gift out $6 subscriptions to other people. That is it. That is how money is made. Fortunately, unlike many other Twitch streamers out there, I like to go ahead and make sure the ads run at specific points to minimize the impact ads have on the experience, because I don't want people to miss out on what I do just because they couldn't afford $6 a month. I don't want to do that. Wow. Currently my ad revenue right now, so far looking at last month, is $1.50. The previous month was 70 cents. Surprise. I think also the previous month I took a lot of days off though, because work and whatnot has been very, very straining. But I digress. Someone in chat says big money can't even buy a cup of coffee. It can, but only at a truck stop. It is good for gas station coffee, and that's it. That ain't no Starbucks money. But I mean, I don't drink a whole lot of coffee to begin with, but man, let me tell you, I feel I mean, if you're a fan of Starbucks coffee, by all means, you do you. You know, you love what you love. I ain't gonna judge. Personal opinion, I think Starbucks coffee is the most overpriced nonsense that exists. That is just my personal opinion. I'm sure someone out there is gonna go, oh, but you don't understand. $12 is a small price to pay for the exquisite coffeeccino that is hand brewed from the baristas that I can't see behind the counter. And oh, it's just the perfect way to start the morning. You know what? Good for you. It ain't for me. I am going to continue to just do what I do, which is usually a thing of extra caffeinated iced tea. And if I'm in a real rush, an energy drink at the gas station, and probably a breakfast sandwich. By gas station, I mean the truck stop that's near the on-ramp that I get on for work. Mostly because I live in Wisconsin, we have Quick Trips. So, ha! You want to talk about the gas station that ruins standards for other gas stations? The frickin' Wisconsin Quick Trip. It's over. You can't compete. You know what else you can't compete with? You can't compete with OpenAI's new parental controls. Oh man, these parental controls, so that you can help make sure you monitor what your kids are doing using ChatGPT and Sora. These new features allow parents to keep an eye on their kids, control what they can and can't search for, to help prevent such tragic suicides that have happened in the past. This is all fantastic. These are all essential things that probably should have been in OpenAI's products from the get-go. And you know what? Better late than never. It's just a shame that frickin' OpenAI made it so that the child can turn off their own parental restrictions from their side with no password to stop them. Just when you thought the people who do AI couldn't be dumber in some respects, these are the most advanced technological minds, but they flubbed up on the most basic of parental controls. This is the equivalent of grounding your kid and leaving them with an open window and the key to your car. What are you doing? This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. So good job, OpenAI. You gave me a good laugh. Because now anytime someone says parental controls, I will forever look back at this moment, which I hope you'll correct soon, because this is common frickin' sense. And just think to the moment where OpenAI let kids turn off their own parental controls. Now, I'll come back next week where OpenAI suggests to police officers they should hand the keys to the handcuffs directly to the suspects while they're in custody. Just shake your head. Just shake your head. No matter how hard you try, all you can do is just shake your head. There's no other response you can give to this. That being said, though, there is a new product that OpenAI has announced, Sora, or OpenAI has announced Sora 2, which is now starting to hit. And now the OpenAI video generation app is now #1 on the US Apple App Store. And quite frankly, it would probably be #1 on the Android App Store if it weren't for the fact that OpenAI is phonist against Android and hasn't released a version of the app on Android yet, despite the fact that the app just connects to a server. And this very easily could just be a web app. Look, I enjoy dunking on large language model AI companies. I really do. It's one of my favorite pastimes lately, because they do just continue to make amazingly stupid mistakes, such as never asking why or what, who is this for, or how does this help anyone. They never ask those questions. And then they go ahead and do stuff like this and then just go, yeah, only if you're an Apple user. Android people, forget them. Even though this is just connecting to OpenAI servers and using all cloud compute, because there's no, I'll just tell you this right now, all right? For any Apple fanboy out there that is like, oh, no, you don't understand. Sora 2 needs the neural engine built into the iPhone to be able to generate these videos. Oh, it just needs that horsepower to do it. And your pathetic, puny Android phone just can't do that. If you're dumb enough to think that your 1 watt neural engine is generating these videos on the fly, you might be the most naive person on the planet. That is the equivalent of me saying, I'm going to go ahead and dump this bottle of rum inside my car and travel the entire length of the country on that 1 bottle of rum. It's not going to work for a large number of reasons. 1, I'm pretty sure it's going to kill my car. 2, I ain't nowhere near enough. No, Sora 2 is clearly being powered by what? Thousands of watts, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of watts of GPU compute. Someone in chat said it requires the Mac Mini power. The Mac Mini has a decent neural engine. I don't think even that is powerful enough. It probably could do it eventually, but I think that poor little 30-watt Mac Mini is going to be sitting in the corner kind of crying, going, oh God, you want me to do what? You're going to be torturing that poor little Mac Mini. You're going to hear that fan go to the max 100% and just go in the corner for hours as it tries to do this workload. There ain't no way the iPhone is doing it. It's not happening. But yeah, no, it's out. And I'm not going to lie. The videos I've seen generated by Sora 2 are, you can spot the wonkiness that you normally see with AI videos. It's not perfect. Whew, it is close. Sora 2's video production is about as close as still image AI image generation is right now. Like, it ain't perfect. People who know what to look for can definitely tell, but it is definitely gonna fool the people who don't know about this sort of stuff. 100%. In other news, Tesla is now in a new lawsuit. Yes, they are. And it's all because a door handle would not release correctly. Now, this actually is incredibly tragic. All right. I don't want to make it sound like I just brought this up to dunk on Tesla. I want to bring this up mostly because it validates what I've been saying for a very long time, that Tesla needs to stop putting form over function. Because Tesla's been doing that a lot. They have put so much form over function. And it's kind of why, even if I put aside my feelings about Elon Musk, if I put aside any of the social stigma in recent years about owning a Tesla, the form over function, to me, is the main reason why, if I won the lottery, I would not buy a Tesla. So what ended up happening with this Cybertruck? Well, it caught fire. The long and short of it is that the thing caught fire. Now, I believe it caught fire due to a crash. Yeah, it caught fire due to a crash. However, what ended up happening is that the 19-year-old woman who was the driver and one of the passengers, a 20-year-old man, both passed away in the car fire because they couldn't get out. Now, Tesla goes ahead. They make electronic door handles because they want to be fancy. I get that, okay? But there is a manual override. The manual override is not obvious. It is hidden under some paneling. You got to rip it off and yank on a cable. They did that. It failed. And because they were trapped, they burned to death inside of the crashed Cybertruck. Now, first off, I do strongly recommend, and I haven't actually said this in a long time, but I do strongly recommend one of the things you keep nearby in your car, and they make these on the cheap, is a glass break hammer. Because all the windows inside of any car, not just the Cybertruck, but any car, are made of tempered glass. You wouldn't think it takes a lot of effort to break glass. Tempered glass does take a lot of effort to break. You might be able to do it with your elbow if you slam hard enough. You might be able to do it with random tools in your pocket. It's possible, but it is difficult. In an emergency situation like this one, you don't want to just trust, oh yeah, I can totally just elbow it out, whatever. I got it. No chances. Because a glass break hammer would have probably saved them. The other thing, though, is that the whole fanciness of this, that, and the other thing, of trying to go ahead and have an electronic door lock, of trying to make it so that there's no top frame, that anytime you hit the electric lock, the window lowers a little bit, and then when it closes, it rises a little bit to make the nice seal and everything. That's cool on paper and great as a showpiece, but we've had that technology for a long time, and there's a reason we don't do that. This is the reason. We need to kind of just stop this. Form over function needs to stop when it comes to vehicles. Function needs to take a top priority. Then you can make it as beautiful, sleek, and whatever you want after the fact. It needs to work as the vehicle first, whether it looks like a real vehicle or a metal shoe for giants. And then after that, you can work on the design, not the other way around. So I'll have to wait and see how this goes, but I got a feeling the way it's going to end is silently with a large settlement. Maybe it'll result in a redesign of the Cybertruck, but I kind of doubt it. By the way, in other bad news, the UK is once again demanding backdoor access to Apple's encrypted cloud storage. Apple has currently responded with no. Anyway, moving on. Game Pass. Oh, Game Pass. All right, so for those who are out of the loop, okay, all the big console brands right now do this kind of subscription thing, okay? Now, This is going to sound very hard to believe, especially if you look at the price of game consoles. But game consoles are supposed to be a cheap alternative to PC gaming. They are supposed to be the low cost option to get into gaming. And this usually happens because, well, they charge a little bit more for their games, usually about $10 more compared to, the PC space. So they get a little bit more money that way to make up for the low cost of the consoles. Oh my God. The console prices are so low. They're so low. So low and tolerable. Very low. Very low and easy to swallow prices, those consoles. By the way, if this is too much sarcasm for you, you can write a formal complaint at itotallycare@eaglefalcon.com, which is a totally real email. Totally real. Good luck, whoever actually owns that email. Now, one of the ways that these gaming companies go ahead and subsidize the incredibly low price of their consoles is by subscription services. Okay. Nintendo goes ahead and sells you retro games on the cloud, or rather you download from the cloud for about $60 a year. Microsoft has multiple tiers of what they call Xbox Game Pass, where you go ahead and have unlimited access to games they choose beforehand. And Sony has something similar to Game Pass, but nobody cares about it. You pretty much just pay the thing because you want online access. All these services basically for the main consoles, the Switch, the Xbox, and the PlayStation, basically are all ways to give you online gameplay to power their servers. Okay. All right. Okay. Now, Nintendo got a lot of flack a while back for charging $60 a year for like only a handful of stuff. That deal has since gotten a bit better. Okay. The PS Plus, they occasionally give free games. If you're like me, you ignore it because you don't feel bothered. You can't be bothered enough. And it also turns out that games take up a lot of space and you only have 1 terabyte on your PS5. So you're just kind of, I'm going to forget about it anyway by the time the PS5 becomes obsolete, and then I'll lose it anyway. But the Xbox Game Pass has always been kind of touted as, quote, the best deal in gaming. Because, oh my God, access to 400 games, many of which are on-launch titles. Like, you'd never buy games again. What a deal. And they have a PC version of the same thing. Oh, man. This is slick. What a great deal. And it used to only be $15 a month. I want to stress that a month thing. Okay. That ain't bad. That ain't bad considering all you're getting, a whole bunch of games, online access, never have to worry about buying a $60 game, $80 game again. That's a good deal, right? Actually, yeah. At the time, tons upon tons of people just said, hey, that's a great deal. Fast forward to now. This is now the third change I've seen to Xbox Game Pass. The first thing they did this time around was that they changed 2 of the names. It is now Essential, Premium, and Ultimate. Whereas before, it was Core, something else that I can't remember now off the top of my head, but also Ultimate. Now, oh, never mind, we have it down here. It used to be Core, Standard, and Ultimate. All right, that's how it used to be. In fact, down here, this article from Windows Central actually has everything I need. It was $10 a month, and what used to be Core, now Essential Game Pass, now includes Xbox, PC, and Cloud. It includes 50 titles where it used to have 25, and have unlimited access to cloud gaming and stream your own game, online console multiplayer, and Microsoft Rewards for gaming up to $25. By the way, the amount of work you need to put in to gain this $25 is so astronomical. No, it's not worth it. This whole reward system, by the way, is a scam. This is not real. Do not believe this lies about you are saving money by racking up these points Oh, one day you can afford a whole game. No, you're not. All right. So honestly, the upgrade from Essential to Core, actually decent. Okay. Game Pass Standard, Game Pass Standard, which is now Game Pass Premium, now includes both PC and cloud, whereas before it was consoles only. Includes the same 200 plus curated Xbox, PC, and cloud console titles. Unlimited access to your own cloud gaming and stream your own game systems, which is new. Membership deals and discounts, that's not new. Online console access. Xbox Game Studio titles added up to a year after launch, but not Call of Duty. And now you can get up to 50,000 points or $50, as well as in-game benefits for Riot Games, Overwatch, and whatever. Basically, nothing really changed there. The only thing that changed is that you have access to the cloud. So far, this sounds fine, right? A couple of upgrades here and there. It really isn't costing Microsoft really anything to do these sort of things. All right, so it's, a little bit of quality of life upgrades. No real additional cost to Microsoft, so everything's good, right? The next tier, which is just the PC Game Pass. This is for Windows PC only. Access to 400 plus PC games. Day one Xbox Game Studio titles, including Call of Duty. The EA Play Vault, the Ubisoft classics. The membership deals and discount, and in-game benefits for Riot Games, Overwatch, and etc. Nothing really changed other than the access to Ubisoft Plus games. The price increased from $12 a month to $16.50. A price increase of $4.50 a month. And all you got was a bunch of Ubisoft games that, let's be honest, they're just old retro titles, most likely. So we're going up $4.50 there. Now, the one everyone said was the best deal in gaming. The Game Pass Ultimate. It still includes access to the Xbox consoles, Windows PC, and the cloud. Hundreds, 400 plus Xbox PC and cloud games. A guarantee of 75 plus day one launches per year. Unlimited access to cloud gaming and stream your own games. Day one Xbox Game Studio titles, including Call of Duty. EA Play Vault, the Ubisoft Plus game classics, online multiplayer, membership deals, and in-game benefits for Riot Games and whatnot. Which now also includes the Fortnite Crew subscription pass. It includes the Fortnite Battle Pass. Basically, the only thing that really changed in this is you have access to the Ubisoft Plus Classics access and the Fortnite Battle Pass. That's really the only thing that changed. They are now asking $10 more a month. It has gone from $240 a year to $360 a year. This is a 50% price increase for an upgrade that costs almost nothing. Now, I have seen other articles also say that the new Ultimate also includes, as someone mentioned in the chat, the ability to earn up to $100 in rewards points. But as mentioned before, when you need to get hundreds of thousands of these points, and the amount of points that you end up earning is roughly maybe 200 a week, these reward points are almost a rounding error. I would honestly argue the whole point system doesn't make up for this at all. Like, you're not going to get $10 of rewards per month unless you made gaming your full-time job. This is about as useful as your grocery store reward points. You're gonna rack them up. You're gonna have hundreds of thousands of points and then go, ooh, I can get $1 off of my gas tank because I shopped here all year. Now, because I am someone that tries to actually gather information, I don't try to go ahead and arrive at some pre-assumed conclusion. I don't try to go ahead and arrive at what I want to arrive at. I want to go ahead and actually get the facts. I want to go ahead and figure out why. I want to try and put myself in the other guy's shoes. Because you wonder when it comes to this, why increase the price by $10? And the easy answer is, oh, it's corporate greed. I hate the corporate greed answer. You want to know why I hate the corporate greed answer? It's lazy. It is such a lazy answer. Why is the price up? Oh, they're just greedy. Why is my health bill this much? Oh, they're just greedy. That doesn't help anything. That doesn't help solve the problem. But here's the thing. Why is the price up? If I don't want to just say, hey, it's corporate greed, why is the price up then? Well, it can't be tariffs. This is all software, and you're not putting price. You can't put a tariff on software. You put a tariff on goods. So it can't be any tariffs. Could it be that Xbox is down and they're just trying to increase their price to make up for that? Well, that's just going to cause what they're seeing right now. And anyone who knows basic economics knows that's the case. When you have goods like this that don't have physical goods to put out, that it's just a service you provide, if you go ahead and increase the price of the service, you're probably going to see a drop in the use of that service because more and more people are unsubscribing from that service. So why? I can only come up with two reasons. Two good reasons. One, they know that their earnings call that is going to be coming up next month is so bad that they're trying to get ahead of it and show their shareholders that, don't worry, we're going to be raking in more money because we increased the price of one of our best subscriptions. That's one theory. Two, and honestly, is probably the correct theory, even though it's a very lazy theory, probably inflation. The price hasn't increased for years, for many, many years. And in fact, the value of the dollar has gone down. It's gone down quite a bit. So yeah, they're trying to go ahead and increase the price due to inflation and trying to make it as palatable as possible. Those are my two best theories in this that don't just say blah, corporate greed. Like I said, I hate that. I hate that excuse. I really do. So, I mean, that's where we stand right now. And whether you believe it's corporate greed, whether you believe it's because of inflation, or whether you believe it's because they're a slave to their shareholders, in the end, the reason is irrelevant. And the reality is, Xbox gamers need to make a choice. Is this worth $30 a month? Considering all your other costs, your rent, your gas bills, your utilities, your grocery bills, considering everything, is $30 a month worth it? Someone in chat asked, what about people jumping ship from Windows to Linux and Mac? It's not enough. The number of people who are jumping ship from Windows to Linux and Mac is negligible. They're a very loud group, and many people like myself have pondered, is it better to just jump ship from Windows and just go to Linux? And many of those same people are realizing, yeah, you might be able to get away with it, but there's just too many limiting factors, and I'm probably just better off sticking to Windows. I came to that conclusion. That's why the rig behind me is going to be a Windows PC, unfortunately. Maybe we'll do dual boot Linux and I start working on shifting that workflow from Windows to Linux, but that's about it. Also, I want to know what lunatics are switching from Windows to Mac. I would believe more people jumping ship from Windows to Mac if the rumors of the ultra cheap MacBook powered by an iPhone chip is real. Once that is confirmed to be real, and the price point of like $600 is confirmed to be real, then I'd believe that people would jump ship from Windows to Mac. Until then, there's no way I can jump ship from my HP Z840 to a, $8,000 Mac Pro? Because that's the only way I'd get the IO I need to then find out that Mac doesn't do half the stuff I want. Plus, on top of that, this is mostly about Xbox gamers, not PC gamers. Xbox. gamers. This supports PC as well. That was one of the appealing things. But yeah. So that is the story of someone in chat is trying to distract me with claims of a MacBook Air at Walmart for $600. And I, for one, am not going to fall for this distraction. Okay, yeah, you can in fact get a MacBook Air that is running a 4-year-old chip for $600. Let me tell you something. Do you know how hard it is to get computer buyers to get used equipment or older equipment? I have been trying to do that for a living for a long, long time. You can't kill that stigma to save your life. To the people willing to do that, yeah, go ahead. There's a $600 MacBook Air 13-inch M1 for $600 at Walmart. Honestly, I would do that if you need a Mac. That's actually a decent deal, assuming it's not a scam. Who is actually selling this? Sold and shipped by Walmart. Well, all right then. So it's not a third-party seller. Meanwhile, if you're looking for a GPU upgrade, tough. That's all there is to it, just tough. The NVIDIA RTX 50 series that are supered so that they actually have the correct amount of RAM are most likely not going to be seen until the end of Q1 2026. Original rumors suggested these were going to start appearing right before the holiday season for 2025. Nope. Not until 2026. And I'm not going to lie, I don't see a whole lot of people going for these. You know what's going to happen. You know what these are going to be priced at. You know these things are going to be priced at a stupid high price. NVIDIA is going to undership to so many stores so they sell out almost immediately. So it looks like there's demand for these things. And they're going to keep slow walking shipping these out to make people believe, oh my God, NVIDIA is so popular. They're selling so many GPUs. Oh my God, it's so many. Oh, NVIDIA is so good because they're selling so fast. And they shipped out 5 total. You know that's what's going to happen. I know that's what's going to happen. We all know it. Guess what? We're all sick of it. I'm sick of NVIDIA pushing out products that when push comes to shove, we also know if you want a 50 series card, you know what you're better off getting? You're better off getting a 40 series card because it's the exact same performance. The only place, and I want to stress this again, the only place the 50 series is better than the 40 series is in AI performance. And it uses that AI performance to push out additional frames of hot garbage, pushing out up to 5 garbage frames to your 1 real frame to the point where stuff begins to smear. I'm sick of the tech. I'm sick of NVIDIA trying to go out, lie to my face and your face, trying to tell us that these are great products when push comes to shove, it is the exact same product as last year. The exact same. Most valuable company in the world. And their current product is built on lies. I hate it. You know what the worst part is? Remember how earlier I said I hate to just throw out the blanket excuse for why is this the way it is? Being just corporate greed. In the case of NVIDIA, it is just corporate greed. The whole point is to push out their tech, to make them sound so much better, to keep their dominance, to make and just maintain their pseudo monopoly. This is all greed. It is all to make big number go up and to go get more and more leather coats. And we're sick of it. But hey, at least your frame rate's higher. Maybe. Someone in chat says, can we please rename to NVIDIA to DLDO just to see if I'd laugh? Honestly, NVIDIA ticks me off so much. It's hard for me to laugh. Because keep in mind, the high-end NVIDIA cards also self-destruct because they went ahead and cut so many corners and then charged so much just to go ahead and inflate their margins. But, you know, someone figured out how to save the modern NVIDIA cards. Amphenol has created an adapter that will connect to the 16-pin connector on the NVIDIA card and go do what NVIDIA wouldn't. Balance the power load and prevent the cord from melting and prevent the card from starting a freaking fire. Wow. What an insane concept. You want to know why I feel like I don't hate NVIDIA enough? It's nonsense like this. A third party had to go ahead and make this. The thing that should have been integrated into the card from the get-go. It's aggravating. It is absolutely aggravating. But hey, at least Jensen Huang's wallet is thicker. That's fantastic. Let's shift gears wildly, shall we? Over in the gaming space. Did you know there's an 89-year-old streamer out there? A woman by the name of Shirley Curley, who also is known as the Skyrim Grandma, has now announced that she is retiring from uploading the Elder Scrolls video ahead of her 90th birthday. She has been uploading to YouTube tons of different ways to play Skyrim for quite some time now at the ripe old age of 89. And now that she's approaching 90, she's looking to go ahead and go and do other things. The reason being is that she's just saying, I'm tired. I'm not having fun with it anymore. Probably because of all the little kids on there. She was no longer just getting any feedback from her viewers. All she gets is, hi, grandma. Love you, grandma. There's just no interaction anymore. So it's hard to say right now what she's going to be doing. Apparently she does have a Bible study YouTube channel where she continues to post videos on, and whatever works for her, honestly. So for that small little section of YouTube, it is the end of an era, maybe. And finally, I give you the last burb, the last story of the day, the weirdest story of the week. I give you the absolute ultimate in insane, paranoid electronics out there. The Mic E mouse uses the mouse's sensors within it to be able to convert the acoustic vibrations detected by the mouse into speech. My friends, we have a spy mouse. We have a mouse that its sole purpose in life is to spy on you. Yep, that is a real thing that is really going to happen. Someone in chat says, I don't need a mouse that'll talk to me. Oh, no. No, you see, a mouse with a speaker in it might be useful. This is strictly a mouse that you plant to go and listen in on people. Because, that's not going to get weird at freaking all. Well, folks, that is going to do it for this episode of Eagle Eyes on Tech. Thank you so much for listening. And I do encourage you to check out my other works at youtube.com/EagleFalcon and twitch.tv/EagleFalcon, as well as check me out on Twitter, which apparently just has the letter X for some reason. Take care, and I hope you have a good day. Bye-bye. So, out of curiosity, how long until we get the keyboard that just has a camera built into it? Or that somehow uses the vibration of my hands to get a 3D surround image of everything around it? I just want to know how long until computer peripherals start being able to detect enough to create images. We got the mouse that now hears. Where's the keyboard that sees? Oh, who am I kidding? We're gonna end up with the spy monitor that has a camera built under the LCD, so it can go ahead and take blurry pictures that way. That's probably gonna happen first before all of it. Or, you know, we're just gonna get the AI powered sex toys that chat is talking about right now, and that's pretty much my cue to just go ahead and just call it a night.